wanna get with Snoop Doggy? Let me let you know what you going through and what you stand for.
The energy from Snoop Dogg was really them mother. I ain't gonna do no capping. Snoop Dogg didn't make his way across the stage and shake no hands. Snoop Dogg didn't say what's up to nobody. Snoop Dogg didn't, man, he came right in, performed them mother, dropped the beat out halfway through, threw his middle fingers up, said what you going through, what you standing for, and got off the stage. He never said what's up to. Just wanted you guys to take note that I'm saying Verzuz is much more than just song versus song. There's details, there's specifics that you must pay attention to pull this off. If we're being honest, we're looking at the first opportunity Cash Money had, which was because you working from a deficit. If you're Cash Money, you're already in a scenario where you're not having a Lil Wayne there. You know people think Wayne gonna be there. You're not having Turk there. People may not as cash much about Turk as they do Wayne, but if y'all would have had Wayne, it adds a different element to this whole Verzuz. But knowing you don't have Wayne, now we have to take all of our star power and try to utilize it in a way where we get the Wayne effect. And I think pushing out with Juvie at the beginning, if you're asking me, was the first opportunity they missed.
But we lost a lot of soldiers, but Cash Money ain't built on you leave, you can't, we gon' still multiply.
Let's go.
Cash Money ain't gon' never die. Long as I'm alive, hold on, Fresh, wait, Fresh. Long as I'm alive, Cash Money ain't gon' never die. Shout out to my NBA YoungBoy, NBA Rich Gang. Don't like it. Right. We with all the bullshit. If you ain't with us, you. P, where you at, bro?
He wrapped up in that YN energy. They got Unc out there talking crazy. they got Unc wrapped up in that YN energy, going in and out these cities on tour with YoungBoy. He done jumped on Apple Music. If you ain't with us, he done went left field. Hey, you're welcome back to It's Up There podcast, the itinerary for the culture. I want to thank each and every person. Of course, man, if you know you're not on Patreon, I would suggest you do that. Come to patreon.com. It's Up There podcast to support us in our movement. Of course, that's how we separate the viewers from the customers from the supporters. There is a long list of checks and balances that we have to do as a company to identify who exactly our target audience is. And if you participate on a high level, I think it'll be in your best interest to meet me behind the paywall at patreon.com. It's Up There podcast. We want to make some millionaires. We want to inspire some people. We want to give affirmations. We want to lend out admiration. We want to read books. We want to talk about games. We want to play games. We want to have a true community across the entire world. To wherever you go, you know that this content brings us all together. And that's the beginning and the end of the conversation. Meet us on patreon.com. It's Up There podcast. Man, I hope y'all been enjoying the content. I'm back doing this solo thing again. I got to get in the swing of it. Right now, I'm just kind of warming up, trying to feel my way back around. And so there's a warming up process that you may bear witness to in real time. I ask that you lend me some understanding. The coach is in a great place. Last night, just to timestamp this so we understand when things are being recorded versus when they're being released. Again, I'm just getting back into the scenario where I want to get in here and really speak to y'all and have some conversations with the culture and kind of act as a stop sign, a thinking place, a think tank, you know, where we can sit down and really divide the pie. If I'm being 100% honest with y'all, and it really just depends on how I feel as we get through this Verzuz conversation. But if I want to be honest with y'all right now, of course, I want to talk about this Verzuz thing, Cash Money, No Limit. That's, for me, you know, such an instrumental part of my childhood and coming up in this game and having any faith that black men that look like us can go and be millionaires by way of music and be executives by way of music, be executives with a period behind that. This what gave me some of that understanding, some of the runs these gentlemen went on, but we'll get into that because I think Verzuz while I have a good relationship with them and a lot of people that work for Verzuz, I still don't want to be misunderstood. I think some things happen at that Verzuz that we're going to talk about here today that hopefully someone can show them this video and bring it to their attention that, you know, there's people in the South that feel a certain way about a couple things. And also, you know, thank you for shining a light on the South. But we're going to have that conversation here in a minute. But of course, I want to talk about Verzuz. A couple other things that I have on the docket that I may or may not get to, just depending on how I'm feeling. And if I want to go down some of these rabbit holes and whether or not I believe you guys will even be interested in it. And you can let me know in the comments moving forward if these topics are things that, because these are the things that I'm interested in, some of these things, and also some of the things that have my attention. And so it just depends on how I feel if I get to these topics. One was the young lady from TikTok who was a teacher for being fired. She made some inappropriate remarks as it pertains to the children, as well as creating content on the job. So that's one of the things. And I want to kind of play what she said, how she felt, and put some context around that. The other one is the DoorDash situation. The young lady who delivered to a DoorDash driver, it was instructed to be a contactless delivery, meaning you leave it somewhere on the porch. You just get out of harm's way. You drop it and get out of harm's way. The young lady pulls up to this gentleman's home. She alleges that the door was open. He was in plain view with the hammerhead shark out. And so then she go ahead and put him on video and quote unquote doxes him to the internet, because she says this experience was sexual assault. And so there's a melee online. I mean, there's a sea of people having conversations surrounding this, and there's a lot of ideas I have that we may iron out. Just kind of letting y'all know what my brain is as of today as it pertains to the show. You know, if you're asking me, man, this is one of the best places that the culture has. You know, one of the more pure spots. It still has the reach we have. It still has the level of integrity that we have to make the money we do, that can make the phone calls we can. You know, I don't think it should be understated what we can do, also what we're willing to do and how far we're willing to go, because I truly believe and know I'm a warrior spirit. And so I'm not going to be the one to lay down just for the sake of being comfortable. There will be signs that I'm at war in the event that a war pops off. I want to start with the Verzuz. For people who do not know, over the weekend, the No Limit vs. Cash Money Verzuz took place. For people who may be unaware, may have forgotten what Verzuz is, it's a platform that creates an environment where you take 20 songs and you go song for song in somewhat of a rap battle. It's not just about the songs, it's about the placement, the arrangement, it's about the outfit. It's about the atmosphere, the stage presence. It's more than just about the music, because it was just clearly about music. It would have no excitement wrapped around it. People would already have a preconceived, which a lot of people did even in this one. But a lot of people would approach it with a certain mindset that won't allow you to understand the different factors and elements that take place that makes this a scenario that can either help or hurt an artist or label in this scenario. We grew up off Cash Money. We grew up off No Limit. That's the reason why we had a hustle we have in the South. We saw them go against the entire industry. And so whatever I say as it pertains to P or Baby or Cash Money or No Limit, mine is out of love. And it's always out of love, because what happens is I watch them boys hustle. They lit something up in the South. I always tell y'all, all you got to do as a great man is leave footprints in the sand. The other great men will head that way and they'll find those footprints. Them dudes left real big feet in the sand. Over the years, there's been allegations of some of the elements that keeps these gentlemen from working with one another. New Orleans is a small place. It was a dangerous place for a long time. And these two gentlemen arose from the dog, rose from the concrete, and made something happen. And so we salute them in the South. And again, they ignited something in some of the young boys like myself. Just seeing them create their business model and execute it. I always tell you, I run into a lot of with a bunch of ideas. I don't run into many that done executed. And that's why I tell people, watch their mouth when they talking to me. You dealing with the executor. I done executed ideas, several of them. and got a lot more work to do, but I respect executors. When you see me in the building with an executor, I'm gonna start being quiet and listening. This is somebody that done executed, not just know something. See, sometimes you'll get in front of me because you know this, that, and the third. It don't move me. And although I respect your knowledge, you will see some pushback from me as it pertains to conversation, because I'm saying, yo, I'm dealing with execution. I don't care nothing about who know what. It don't do me no good. You know how to make a good macaroni, and I ain't never had none of it. You know the ingredients to make a hell of a chest pie, and ain't nobody never tasted it. Your own family, your loved ones, your people. You don't know nothing about nothing, but you know all the ingredients and all the recipes, but you ain't never put nothing on nobody's plate. Y'all can miss me with that. And so I have love and respect for the executors in the game. There's several that run around. And so Cash Money and Baby, No Limit and Master P, these dudes was executors from the South. We had a certain level of reverence for them and still do to this day. We won't even get into why they didn't work together all those years. We'll leave that off the table. We want to have a productive conversation, and there's so much more to talk about surrounding this verses. Number one, coming into the verses, there was a conversation surrounding who would be there. What eras would they pull from? Because see, Cash Money has eras on top of eras, and it becomes unfair if they get to pull Drake, Nicki, Wayne, all that in. It becomes a mismatch. And I say that respectfully to P and the game he put down. It was elite game. But I understood that it becomes unfair if I'm able to pull Drake, Nicki, and all of that. That's one. But two, I also knew you wouldn't see Drake and Nicki. And I had a bet that you wouldn't see Wayne. And it ain't because of Turk. And salute to Turk. Turk going through what he's going through with Cash Money, man. They'll figure it out. Hopefully get all that together. Wayne didn't miss the verses because Turk didn't show up. Wayne missed the verses because he's been negotiating with verses for a long time now. It's a bag on the table. If I show up now, I lend my likeness, my voice, and everything to this in a capacity where I won't maximize the value of it. And so Wayne isn't showing up not because of Turk, and maybe they can frame it that way, but it's business. On the reason why you won't see Lil Wayne, Drake, or Nicki. Imagine Drake popping out For the Love on Versus. That's on Apple at ComplexCon. You know the business surrounding that shit? You know how much money's been placed into... Man, come on, man. These is businessmen at this point. All that For the Love shit is out the door, especially on a certain level. Right? You got to pay for my presence. See, that's the problem when you let people into your business model. And they see, what? Trill off them, what? 300 million for that shit. They got to pay me to come through that. Now, I ain't doing that. They taking that shit and doing that with it. The same what you see in the workplace when you see something like what happens at Joe Budden. You get these articles written up that you're making this kind of money, and then the whole cast just start being very chilled and relaxed. Sometimes people are not driven by the success of the ship that they're even on. Sometimes the feeling of I've made it or make somebody slow down, not speed up. See, some of us got a loose screw in there to when it say, you made it. You want to speed up even more. If I can get this, I can do this twice. If I can get this, I can do this 3 times. You want to turn it up because you a real hustler. You win final boss. You final boss. You elite if you got that kind of mindset. Some people will get to I made it and turn the car off. I'm here now. They have a lack of understanding of momentum and things that make you who you are and make your ship move. Some people will see a ship moving and that don't turn them on. They turn the car off. We're here now. We made it. I'm here. Yes, I made it to the league. I made it to the league. Now, I bought my people a house. Everybody straight. I got some money. Yes, I'm good. Shit, they benching me, no problem. Some got 200 million in the bank and they still run to the bench upset. Coach, why are you benching me? I still got game left. And see, I understand how this industry and this walk and this ladder that we climb to be successful, I understand how exhausting it is. Sometimes people end up gaining everything they ever wanted, but by the time they get it, they so exhausted they can't even enjoy it. They've been through so much hell to get everything they ever wanted. By the time they get it, they can't even enjoy it. They've dealt with betrayal along the way. They dealt with stealing along the way. They dealt with backbiting along the way. They've dealt with lying along the way. They've dealt with so many different things along the way. By the time they finally look up and get everything they got, they too exhausted to even enjoy. It's a harsh reality that sometimes you have to trade everybody that loved you at that level for the next level. Think about that. These are people you attached to. You really love these folk. You've been with these folk from the mud. These people know you. They know what you like, what you into. You know the vice versa. It's real love there, but to get to the next level, you got to let them people go. They don't understand or respect the level you on, and that'll hold you from the next level, because any vibration around you that doesn't see you as the God and King that you are, you have to remove yourself from that situation. So I don't think Drake or Nicki popping out should have ever been on anyone's bingo card. Like, that's a 7-figure, probably an 8-figure play for Drake to do. Again, in conjunction with Apple, in conjunction with Complex. Man, come on. You're not going to see Drake and Nicki likeness be utilized in a way that these rappers are just smarting up, open the market up at this point. But I enjoyed what I saw. I think there's a conversation to be had about Wayne not being there, and we'll have that in just a second. I want to dig into how it started and just a couple of the records, just looking back at what took place. Couple different things. As we look at these clips, I'm not sure YouTube will be able to show these clips, or will they be flagged? I don't know. But this entire video is available on Patreon with the clips in there, because, again, this is fair use. YouTube, sometimes I don't want to go through the rigmarole. I send my people to dispute certain things, and others we don't have the time or the capacity or bandwidth to worry about and go back and forth about. It's not that serious. We're keeping our journalistic integrity and covering this story. But as we look through these clips of the Cash Money versus No Limit, we will come in with commentary here and there. We're dealing with two behemoths of businessmen and record labels in the South. Again, I don't think I can explain the gravity of what we're viewing right here, not even in this moment, because this ain't all the families together. Not even in this moment. Just, I'm saying what these dudes mean to the South, and we'll wrap that back around. But let's take a look at how they cranked up, which was the first songs they chose in the verses after Cash Money said, you know what? Hey, we'll go first. And then No Limit came out right after. Pay attention.
We just stuck with it. You know, it's been hard work. That's what make you strong and make you a man when you know you're a real hustler. Get with a click and run with it till it make a break. I told you I ain't going nowhere. I'm like the Michael Jordan of the rap game. Ain't no ending with this here.
Paperwork's done. Side.
Flip a coin or what?
Who flipping this coin?
Flip a coin.
Y'all won't go?
But
Let's get right here so we can see that.
So what we're taking a look at is the opening of verses. It opened this way. Manny Fresh came out. I think that's either KLC or one of those guys from the No Limit side. And they just spoke about flipping the coin. But Cash Money with it had it took the spot. Pay attention.
Y'all need a mic?
Let's get the mic.
Yeah. We ain't gotta wait. We could go first.
It don't matter.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah. Back me. Whoa.
Y'all ready to get this shit started? Y'all ready to get this shit started? And we start this like this.
You see me, I used to see chicks talk back. You see the 9-8 Mercedes on TV, I bought that. Ass some felony talks, I bought that. Consider no return, but still was ball back. Nigga do some slavery.
So as you see, Cash Money come right out to 400 Degreez. This is a Juvenile thing. This kind of, at this moment, I guess I'm understanding what era they gonna be in. And again, they got hits in all the eras. But Juvenile carried them. I don't think people understand it. That's why I can't wait to have a conversation with Juve and BG. That's my guy. We gonna have a conversation very soon. But Juvenile was a beast, man. I think it's understated and undercelebrated what Juvenile was to not only Cash Money, to Southern artists. The versatility, the ability to go up and work with Jay-Z. Like, bro, it's so much we gonna talk about. But they had to run this off of Juvenile, and they come out with 400 Degreez, very monumental moment. But I want you to see how No Limit responded, and then we'll get into a few other things.
All if a nigga try, I can do the right thing. Only God knows what the future might bring. Nigga might be shy, nigga might be trifling. Nigga might survive if you find that right flame. What's up? That'll stop a nigga from playing. Something like a job off and in his hand. Damn! Boy, look, nigga don't play no game no more. Nigga will bust a head if you bang his own. Attitude adjustments we all need. For calling them enforcements, nigga call me.
And classic album, bro. That 400 Degreez classic, stamp it. Iconic album. And if you know Juvie, this is what he does at his shows. What that shit Manny doing, where they put the effect on the voice to say you don't want to fuck with me.
1, 2, 4. What's happening, baby? All right.
Shout out to the legend Manny Fresh.
All right. That's how you open that shit up? That's what you do? Yes, sir. All right, hold on. You think it's the motherfucking game.
What's up with all y'all? Let a motherfucking talk. What's up, big vibe? Silkk the Shocker. Big Mo. We No Limit soldiers. We No Limit soldiers.
So No Limit comes right out.
We No Limit soldiers.
So No Limit comes out. They come right out with No Limit Soldiers. Now at this moment, I'm gonna be honest. Hold on, let me get myself together. At this moment, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm looking, I'm like, okay, P and them 150 deep. I'm talking about P and them come on stage 150 deep. Everybody got fatigues. It kind of either feel like they handing them out backstage, or if you ain't got a fatigue, you can't get on stage. We go in uniform with this thing. But for them to come right out with No Limit Soldiers, 150 deep, ain't no bunch of friendly shit either now. I think we got to make sure to check the temperature in the room now. I think this is the first opportunity Cash Money had. They had an opportunity to bring everybody on stage at once and get that feeling fresh out the gate, but they kind of let Juvie go. And then Master P comes out and he uses his star power and bring everybody on stage soon as we crank this off. And again, I just wanted you guys to take note that I'm saying Verzuz is much more than just song versus song. There's details, there's specifics that you must pay attention to pull this off. If we're being honest, we're looking at the first opportunity Cash Money had, which was because you working from a deficit if you Cash Money. You're already in a scenario where you're not having a Lil Wayne there. You know people think Wayne gonna be there. You're not having Turk there. People may not as cash much about Turk as they do Wayne, but if y'all would have had Wayne, it adds a different element to this whole Verzuz. But knowing you don't have Wayne, now we have to take all of our star power and try to utilize it in a way where we get the Wayne effect. And I think pushing out with Juvie at the beginning, if you're asking me, was the first opportunity they missed. And they allowed No Limit to come right in with everybody on stage at once, dressed like 150 deep, not looking like we friendly. Man, we come to whoop on you boys. Pay attention. On top of that, salute to the Queen Mia X. I think it's understated Mia X's presence amongst No Limit. But I think after this verses, you clearly saw, and it was on Front Street, I think it was on full display that Mia X was much more important than she gets credit for, not only for No Limit, but I think she's even important for Southern female artists. I would love to have a conversation with Mia X on this Up There podcast, but Mia X was one of those women that was out there with all of those men spitting and holding her own. From her voice to her delivery, still to this day, her vocal ability, her ability to still get out there and rap that song word for word and not be out of breath. If you know some of her stories and what she's been through, our prayers have been with Mia X as she's been on several journeys. But Mia X is a legend. It felt good to see Mia X come out here and get the flowers she deserves and shine bright on a night that was dedicated to No Limit and Cash Money. We saw some of the backlash that Mia X and Master P went through over the last couple of months. Good to see them bury that hatchet and come together at least for this moment. But Mia X is someone that we honor, we love, we respect here at this Up There podcast as we're a Southern platform, and we highlight the dynamic voices, interesting people, and Mia X is a queen in rap. We'll get to some of the other things, but I just wanted that to be said. Pay attention to Master P. Again, to give some context setting, this is Master P. First song in response to Juvenile coming out by himself doing 400 Degreez. Of course, Manny Fresh, he has a bit of celebrity as well. Salute to the legend Manny Fresh. But doing 400 Degreez and then Master P come out on stage 400 deep. You see P, you see Mac, you see Silkk. You're going to see all of these guys show up off the rip, set the tone. All of our stars are here because this is what you have to do. That's one thing I think No Limit understands his brand a little bit more than Baby. And I think because Baby was in a scenario to have so many superstars, he kind of lost track of being able to band together. Because his celebrity, BG celebrity, they should have used all that together and came out at the same time. Very uniform, very in tune with each other. I think it would have worked in their favor a little bit better. But salute to both of them. But pay attention to No Limit. This is getting interesting. Silkk come out with some of the, that's my Silkk, salute to the South. But he come out with some of the worst rapping on the man. My Silkk, salute to Silkk. My boy come out with that offbeat shit. Yes, Lord, entertainment. But again, some of his records I kind of with. He came in and out. But man, I'm talking about Silkk, man. But again, I want y'all to take notice to the genius of Master P. Bring all your people out. Bring Mia X out. Bring Silkk out. Bring everybody out because our star power lives in all us together. All us together means something, especially if I'm Cash Money and I ain't got Wayne there. I just think, man, he missed a moment right there. Come out all together, all on point, shining. He supposed to have them big diamonds on. We gonna get to it, though. Pay attention, though.
Hold up.
Why load up this?
Wait, attention!
Now all my soldiers start fighting.
Let's go.
To go deep cut.
Beat the weapon like that. Let's go.
Like jet.
Red. Go deep like Jay Gunn. Fuck it all, y'all. What's up?
Open up y'all belly.
Let's go.
Bitch, where we at?
I heard we got drama, motherfucker. Put up the biz and now we drama. Cause all I want to be was a soldier. All I want to be was a soldier. We know limit soldiers. I thought I told you. We know limit soldiers.
I thought I told you.
We know limit soldiers.
I thought I told you.
We know limit soldiers.
Hard times, got my mind no cop. Clean as it though it's been a plot. Top priorities, the family talk and royalties. My loyalty means with the gang of
You hear the crowd going out for the queen. Salute to the queen, Mia X.
true niggas, no colors, just a bunch of ignorant motherfuckers. Trust, my pen is an infrared. Hollow tips be my lyrics dipped in venom when I say them, they
Get
spit
your
your
head
head
wide open.
My rhyme's so fire blunt, but you can't touch damn one. Don't try to come, don't even touch the mic. My shit's so tight, it's more correct than right. When I recite absolute shit, you booty assholes and niggas perpetrate behind water gun triggers. Hurry up and take on your face, you
No
soldiers.
limit soldiers. No limit soldiers. Man, I love y'all.
So at this point, I'm like, all right. So far, I've only saw Juvenile. So I'm still like, hold on. They got Cash Money. We got something up the sleeve. And I've saw the entire No Limit. If you're asking me how I feel after round one, it feels like there's more energy on No Limit side because there's so many people. They're all in uniform. It kind of feels more like they're speaking to the crowd. You know, there's just things that's sticking out as it pertains to, hold on, man, them folk, they ain't coming to play, is it? And so now we go back to song 2. So now when we into song 2, and we're not going through all the songs, we're gonna, after this song 2, we're gonna go a little bit ahead into the verses because I want you guys to see what I'm thinking about. But pay attention to song 2. I think this is very important, and then we'll come back with some commentary.
Hey, Fresh. So KL, y'all bring y'all people. You bring your CEO out here. Hey, Fresh. What's that, Fresh? It's our turn, baby. Hey, Fresh, it's our turn, baby.
That's 2 mistakes right there. You see how they didn't drop it? When he said, hey, Fresh, it's our turn, baby, they supposed to drop the song. And I know it seems minute and it seems small, and it is small. But when it feels like your opponent has came in with an unexpected burst of energy, all right, no slip-ups, everybody tighten up, let's do it. And so they come out with the Still Fly, which is a hit record in the South. But this is just Birdman and Fresh. This song, if you're asking me, should have came 7 or 8. A great song, but as number 2, I'm kind of about that. Pay attention.
When I'm without Gucci suit, the Gucci suit ain't got no job, but I stay shy. Can't pay me. Real ride with the tie in the middle. Niggas fresh and stunner, and we like brothers. We shine like paint, baby. It's our summer. Gate up, boots. When I'm without Gucci suit, with your Gucci suit ain't got no job, cause I stay shy. Can't pay my rent. I can't pay my rent. All my money spent. Cause all my money spent. But that's okay, cause I'm still fly. What? Cause I'm still fly. Got a quarter tank of gas. What? In my new E-Class. In my E-Class Benz.
I think you come out of the gate aggressive. Another couple things I want you to pay attention to is that when Birdman them grabbed the mic for song number 2, when Manny Fresh first grabbed the mic, he understood what I said, which is, oh shit, they just brought all of their star power out at once. So they playing a different game than we playing. We playing the pop out here and there game without Wayne. I think that's the wrong game plan. We supposed to come all out. And so guess what was the first thing he said? Oh, y'all brought your CEO out? He peeped it. See, this is what I'm telling you. It's more than just song for song. It's how you do it and the approach. It's the illustration. It's the entire picture. It's the entire process that plays into how this looks on camera and how people receive it. And so I just want you to see, they come right out with hustler, baller, gangster, cap pillar, who I be. Come on, man. Y'all got to hit them hard. Y'all can't be coming out with I'm so fly, yeah. Even though that's a big record, it ain't aggressive enough. These niggas got army fatigue on. You know, in New Orleans, everybody, nigga, we fighting over this army fatigue. Y'all just done took the army fatigue from us. Man, come on, man. Hot Boyz used to be army fatigue like a bum. But that's a conversation for another podcast. Pay attention.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up!
We about to bring this shit across the board.
You heard? Represent!
You see how everybody on that side, is bouncing and moving with the music and vibing out with the music. Cash Money them, all them rich and shit, all them celebrities in their own right. So they up there saying, man, they don't know who I am, but I'm a general. I ain't doing all that. I'm up here just, I'm part of the infrastructure. You understand me? You know, they playing that one. On No Limit side, everybody moving. Look. Now here's something I want y'all to pay attention to when this was over with. Pay attention to this.
Break you arms up!
Don't make me break.
Yeah. This a New Orleans celebration, man. Salute.
But in order to do that,
Let's go.
I need me a project.
Again, you see them off balance. He dropped the song before Juvenile is even ready. And again, man, this is why I think some of these little things caused, if you ask me, for No Limit to shine brighter than I believe they would have shined coming in. And I know No Limit is legendary and they got plenty of songs, but as it pertains to No Limit versus Cash Money, I'm like, yo, it's no way. They got too much. It's too much going on. But they mishandled this. They mishandled this, bro. Even with this song, now you come back, he just hit you with hustler, baller, gangster, cap pillar. After you guys just done Fly, Still Fly, which is a friendly kind of record. Now y'all come with I Need a Project, which is another friendly kind of record. These is after I done already established, I'm here to get this job done. Yeah, I'm here to get this job, but it feels like on their side, it isn't as serious. It doesn't mean as much. I don't know why, but it just feels that way, and I could be wrong. Again, I got a lot of respect for both these sides. I come up off these dudes. I got a lot of respect for them, but I'm covering the story. Pay attention. So we fast forward a little bit into the verses a little more. We're deep in at this point, and let's see what we get.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
Uh-oh, it ain't my fault. What's up, brother KL? It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Uh-oh, do that. Oh, it ain't my fault.
Did I do that?
It ain't my fault.
Did I do that?
It ain't my fault.
Did I do that?
Uh-oh, one time, y'all. Oh, it ain't my fault.
Did I do that?
It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. I'll let y'all keep it going. Let's go.
And then the Silkk was at my throat with that.
Yeah, that fucking beat. He took that New Orleans second line vibe, and you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, KL think he's slick though. You heard me? You know what I'm talking about? I know what you be doing. You heard me? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
We ain't done no.
Strike it up.
Who we got?
Before you jump in the game, let's get one thing understood. New Orleans in this. Y'all get y'all ones up for New Orleans. Y'all look good, man. I love y'all. This a real celebration. What you got? What you got? Put y'all, keep your ones
Hold on,
up.
Fresh, can I say something, bro?
Keep your ones up.
Fresh, can I say something, bro?
Keep them up.
I started this stunt shit. I started this jewelry. I'm the first nigga with diamonds in their teeth. I'm the first nigga with tattoos in their face. I started this stunt shit.
Now you ready?
Fresh, let's get it.
Everybody put your ones in the air, man. Push your ones in the air.
You know me, I don't need an introduction to shit. Ride business, all feeling, all button.
You know, even when I look at the songs, I still think I want to get an edge to Cash Money, even though No Limit surprised me, and they maneuvered through this verses in a way that shined a lot of light on what they've done. Let me step back for a second and deal with some of the things I think stood out to me, even from Birdman's perspective. Couple things I also think Cash Money could have done better. And again, this is us covering the story. They could have created time and let Birdman pop that shit. That's what people love him for. The slick talking. That's one thing I watched No Limit take from him. Soon as they song was over, No Limit would transition right into their music, not even letting him get some of that smooth talking out. But what supposed to happen is adjustment needs to be made on Cash Money side before we drop the record. Let Birdman pop some of his shit. Let him get in his bag, because even this moment right here, how he was like, yo, can I say something? Yo, can I say? He got to say that. He shouldn't have to say that. That is an attribute that Birdman has that not many people have. In particular, from a CEO standpoint, that people believe him when he popped that money shit. So they supposed to let Birdman, give him more room to pop that money shit. They didn't do that. I think that was a mistake. You feel what I'm saying? That's if you asking me. I think that was a mistake, but I also think it was calculated from No Limit side to take that from him. Soon as the song over, don't even let him say, yeah, that song right there made 10 billion off that one. That one right there took us over to Thailand. You know, don't even let him get none of that out. Soon the song over, drop our shit. We finna disable Birdman's ability to sway the public with the smooth talking. And so they took it from him. He started to say things towards the end that was not so smooth though. And so also I was thinking to myself, man, looking at P go through some of his shit like Mr. Ice Cream Man and all of those type of records. I said, I wonder can P and Baby do one? I mean a Master P and Baby verses. Like Birdman versus Master P. Hit for hit. Whatever songs you got, whatever I done. He gonna bring out shit like Mr. Ice Cream Man. You know, Birdman got albums too now. Don't get it mistaken. Birdman got albums now. And he got songs. But I wonder what that would look like. Master P versus Birdman versus. Yeah. But again, man, I think they did a great job with versus. It looked great. It looked like some shit from WWE. Even though I think they could have done better with it, made it a little more visible. You know, when you do get the wide shot from it, it just kind of, I don't know what, it just looks, I don't know. Even though I like the setup, I guess this is a walkway. I would have loved for them to be in the center right here, where the fans can be much more in tune. It feels like the fans are far back. I don't know, man. I think it was a good event. Shout out to ComplexCon. Shout out to Verzuz. But I'm going to still think about it. I'm going to watch it a few more times before I actually give a verdict on who I think won. I do think Cash Money mishandled a couple of situations. And towards the end, Baby said a few things. I think if we're going to talk about performance of the night, I think it got to be BG's performance versus Snoop Dogg performance. I'm about to show you BG's performance, and then I'm going to show you Snoop Dogg's. Again, if you're on YouTube, you may not see this. I'm going to try to come back with some commentary that kind of fills in the blanks and get some colorful language so you may can kind of understand what we're looking at. But pay attention to BG's performance that I think, if you're asking a lot of people, what's performance of the night, pay attention.
The music. It's a celebration of music. New Orleans in the motherfucking building, you dig? It go like money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich. Put away meals and Kwame studio.
This don't even got a backtrack. This is straight home rapping, no backtrack now. I don't need to hear no back talk about this here. Pay attention.
My shit, dropping rap at the rap, like you said, key up the key. Baked up by the best fresh, dropping beat at the beat. My clique is the Hot Boyz, best believe they so hot. And dangerous if we're in beef, we'll clear the whole block. No fakeness at all, nigga, cause we roll too deep. With AKs off safe, then I hit niggas off it. I go by the name the BG. I ride on chrome in the 9A Lexi S3. I bust a nigga down for bathing on his V3. Cause I know one thing, my dog will do the same for me. We family. Cash money is a homie, nigga. A neighbor, nigga. If you ever try to homie, nigga, it ain't gravy, nigga. Don't play a hate me, nigga, cause I leave your shit stale. Light shirt real good, you'll never get well. Cash money is a homie, nigga. A neighbor, nigga. If you ever try to homie, nigga, it ain't gravy. Cash money is a homie, nigga. A neighbor, nigga. If you ever try to homie, nigga, it ain't gravy, nigga. Yeah.
That's the first time I really seen a Cash Money that close over there performing in the No Limit area. He went over there, and I ain't saying he done that to disrespect them. It just might been the vibration of just it's just how I'm feeling. You understand me? But he definitely went over there in the No Limit area and performed Cash Money as an army. And he did it with no backtrack. That right there, if you're asking me, is contestant of performance of the night. And that's with Mia X off the table. She gets her flowers. She did her big one. We already celebrated her. But performance of the night is that performance we just watched. BG performing Cash Money as an army in No Limits area. And we'll put that against Snoop Dogg popping out for No Limit. And again, this is what makes it hard to judge. Cash Money had no guess. And I get it. They understand they have their own star power. But when we talk about a versus, when you got Snoop Dogg pop out with this kind of energy, it's just going to be hard for me to say you beat him. Pay attention to this.
Get to eternal sleep, but if you didn't get the fucking picture, bitch, I'm down for my niggas. Fuck the other niggas, cause I'm down for my niggas. Fuck the other niggas, cause niggas. I die for my niggas. Fuck them other niggas. Fuck them other niggas. I'm down for my niggas. Fuck them other niggas. I'm down for my niggas. Fuck them other niggas. I ride for my niggas. I die for my niggas. Fuck them other niggas.
What niggas? Dick niggas? Yeah, dog, you with it? Fuck them, let's get them. Do them, I did them. We getting nutty in this motherfucker. I got my buddies in this motherfucker. Leave a nigga bloody in this motherfucker.
Again, contested for performance of the night by Snoop Dogg, no backtrack. And for people who have never performed a rap song live, I need you to understand it's like the backtrack carries you and helps you with your breath control, right? So if I understand my backtrack is saying the last two words of each sentence, then I can just say, leave a we in the cutty. You done too much. You got it. Instead of having to say every single word. You understand me? And not only that, I want you to look at Snoop Dogg's energy, and we'll get to that after this performance is over. Pay attention.
We in the cutty. You done too much. You got it coming. Some of these is too. And some of these look just like you. Well, where I'm from, we like to ride on fools. We do it from the shoulders and do it from the tools. I do my dirt all by my lonely. See murder and magic? Hell yeah, they're my fucking homies. So when the shit get thick and foggy, and wanna act like they wanna get with Snoop Doggy, let me let you know what you going through and what you stand for.
You see, they try to take that from Snoop and P because they wanted to celebrate after that. Nuh-uh, we coming right with back that ass up. That's one thing they were doing, I think. I don't want to see that in verses, if I'm being honest. I want to be able to get their shit off. That's what made verses. One of the moments when Jadakiss pop out and say, yo, I'm talking to the real New York. It just, those moments bring the vibe. I don't want to see them cut each other off because they scared of how gonna celebrate and if it's gonna sway the crowd. And I ain't gonna lie, No Limit started that because they left no room for Baby to say anything because they understood how powerful he is as it pertains to just his verbiage to our culture. But pay attention to Snoop Dogg in this moment as he walks off stage. The energy from Snoop Dogg was really them other. I ain't gonna do no capping. Snoop Dogg didn't make his way across the stage and shake no hands. Snoop Dogg didn't say what's up to nobody. Snoop Dogg didn't, man, he came right in, performed them other, dropped the beat out halfway through, threw his middle fingers up, said what you going through, what you standing for, and got off the stage. He never said what's up to, and he came camouflaged down. I think in our culture, we don't speak enough about the relationship between P and Snoop and how Snoop has followed through. It take a man to follow through. It take a little boy to create broken promises. Snoop has always followed through with P because P was there for him in a time where he needed P. Be there for somebody. It may pay off. You understand me? As big as Snoop Dogg is, that's a bag for him. The same way Wayne is negotiating the bag. Drake is negotiating the bag. Nicki negotiating the bag. Snoop has a bag on the table from verses to do him versus someone. He pops out for P. I'll tell you something about this verses. A couple things I didn't appreciate and one thing that was undeniably clear. Cash Money didn't have that superstar. And so the superstar power over on Cash Money's side that we know to be one of the more dynamic voices ever to had grabbed a microphone in Lil Wayne, Dwayne Carter, was not there. And his absence was felt. If you pop out with a Lil Wayne at this, it changes the conversation completely. It changes the catalog, the setup, what songs you're going to use. It changes all of that because I understand that you don't want to come out as Birdman, Cash Money and use all of Wayne's songs because Wayne is negotiating the bag. Yo, don't go up and burn my songs up, bro. Like y'all use some Cash Money shit, some Still Fly, some Get Your Roll On. You know what I'm saying? Some of that shit that built the label. Don't get up here into this shit, cause all us negotiating our own bag with verses. And so out of respect, yo, let's stay away from that. They played one Wayne record and that was 6'7" without Wayne. You felt this absence in that moment because usually when Wayne pops out and performs 6'7", the crowd goes stupid. When that 6'7" was playing, it was just kind of like, yeah, this is one of them ones though. And I think they missed Wayne in a way where some of the fans are calling for Wayne like, yo, you should have been there. But I understand the business behind it. Also, I seen where some of these dudes on the stage, they spent a lot of time performing to each other. Yo, you got a crowd full of people. That's what I also respected about BG's performance and Snoop's and really No Limit every time. They faced the crowd and went to it. But some of the people on Cash Money's side, when they would talk to each other. They love each other. They happy to see each other. So they rapping at each other instead of the crowd. Those little things on camera, they come off a way. They may not come off a way when you're doing your shows in these arenas and you just shining and doing your 1-2, but they come off a way when it's on camera, when you're performing not only for an audience, but for a viewing audience. People that's watching it from the comforts of their own homes. Let's get to the end of this, and we're going to make this just one episode because I don't even want to broach any other topics because we're just basically breaking down the verses. But let's get to the end of the verses where a lot of colorful language from Cash Money CEO and founder Brian Birdman Williams was left on the table. Pay attention.
I ain't gonna even lie, bro. Like when I met Blood, you know, I just was trying to do something different in the game. I had started this shit young. I was a young man trying to get some money and not be in the streets. And I met BG. I met Wayne, I met Juvie, I met Turk. Shout out to Turk, you little bitch, you ain't here, but you. We gon' with you when we won't with you. You heard me?
Damn!
Nigga. We gon' with that when we won't fuck with it. But that's another movie. But
damn!
You know, Cash Money, when one died, I ain't gonna say died, cause we lost a lot of soldiers. But Cash Money ain't built on you leave, you can't, we gonna still multiply.
Let's go.
Cash Money ain't gonna never die. Long as I'm alive, hold on, Fresh, wait, Fresh. Long as I'm alive, Cash Money ain't gonna never die. Shout out to my NBA YoungBoy, NBA Rich Gang. Who don't like it, we with all the bullshit. If you ain't with us, you.
P, where you at, bruh? Say something so they know our culture, we get together.
Tonight, look, listen, y'all, listen, for sure.
So after Birdman said that, Pete never even got on the mic. I don't know, I think Birdman might have got drunk, man. Got a little head of himself and got drunk. Again, that's that tour energy. He been on tour. It ain't no separating it. He been on tour popping that kind of shit. That's what he doing. That's the vibe. That's the mind frame he in. You know, I know there really wasn't no diss at Turk. You know what I'm saying? People catch that word in it and they think that's disrespect. And I get it because I don't play that word. But, you know, a couple of my best friends is from New Orleans and grew up down there. And that's just how they talk. Sometimes they kick that kind of lingo. And so, you know, I understood there wasn't no disrespect. That was just like, you know, I love you. We ain't with you right now. We'll get it together at some point type thing. But, you know, Birdman is getting old, man. You know what I'm saying? I think it's time to separate itself from all that we with all the bullshit talk. You understand me? Now, we know he gonna get it done, and we know they gonna move on his command. You know, I kind of watch how people around him move and the respect level that they give him. He moving like a real general now. It's just funny to him. We with all the bullshit on national, on Apple Music, national TV. Just we with all the bullshit. Shout out NBA YoungBoy. I don't know, man. Like, we got to get it together. You know what I'm saying? You $1 billion play. He wrapped up in that YN energy. They got Unc out there talking crazy. They got Unc wrapped up in that YN energy, going in and out these cities on tour with YoungBoy. He done jumped on Apple Music. If you ain't with us, he done went left field. But here's something I want to address before we get out of here. There was a dramatic difference in how Verzuz handled Cash Money versus No Limit in contrast to some of their other events that they've put on, some of the other verses in particular when they're dealing with legends. When we talk about what's going on with this one, we heard Manny Fresh and others come along and say, yo, we only got 4 minutes left. It's not us, it's not Cash Money, it's not No Limit. Basically saying that it's either Complex or it's Verzuz. It's the higher ups. It's the people that put the event on. My question becomes one that I think should have been answered ages ago. Why wouldn't we deal with the Southern District that we have to cut short the celebration the way that you framed it as? I'm having a discomfort in understanding how we arise to the point where we're going to take Cash Money versus No Limit, which is some of the premier acts from the South that built the foundation that a lot of these guys get their fruit from, laid the roots to the tree that now a lot of individuals eat and feed their families from as it pertains to the South. How and why did they only have a short amount of time to do what was called a celebration for two of the labels that we grew up on and respect at a high level? And they're from the South. I have a question, a burning question that I think someone somewhere should be able to answer. I would love to hear that this was something that Cash Money and No Limit said or put in their contracts, that we're only going to do 10 songs instead of the 20 like we usually do, and we're going to have a set amount of time that we have to deal with, in which we're not going to be able to have a celebration in which we've saw Dipset and the Locks be able to celebrate one another and celebrate the culture and celebrate the music. I think we have done ourselves a disservice by taking our Southern District and giving it such a short amount of time with such rich history. And so I have that question to put out there. I would hope that someone from somewhere clarifies or conducts some sort of statement, interview, or press release to give us an understanding as to why would the Verzuz, when you're dealing with the Southern District, such a rich history that means so much to so many people in hip-hop and rap and music, why would we have to cut it short at 10 versus 10 instead of doing the normal 20 versus 20? These are questions that hopefully will be answered by a legitimate character who has some insight as to why that's the case. But those are my questions. Again, we appreciated the Verzuz. I think these guys done a great job. Look forward to see what they have coming next. Hopefully they can address the stage, because it's like, I don't know. I like the big screen. I like some of it, but the complex Verzuz just seem, I don't know, like an amateur kind of thing, even though it's clearly not. I mean, it looks like the WWE or some shit, but maybe the graphic design, you got to elevate something here though. Something's missing. But I hope y'all enjoyed us looking into the Verzuz, some of my thoughts and opinions on it. I appreciate everybody that's tapped in. It's love, you know that. For shit show. See y'all next time. Hit that like, hit share, let them know you was there. It's Up That Podcast, the itinerary. Big long love.